Hello and welcome to today's daily watercolor practice. In these videos I show you daily how I practice watercolors, like I practice different skills. Every day we're focusing on something different. They are very easy exercises designed to improve your watercolors. So I hope you join me. Today we will be exploring shadows. It's not something I'm super familiar with because I usually you paint fairly loose. I'm not a very realistic painter, but I think it's important to practice and learn things that we are not used to do, because that makes us better painters. So I hope you join me. I hope you grab your brushes, grab your paints. I'm rushing a little bit because it's late and I feel pressure of time, but I'm going to take a deep breath and slow down, and we will start with a very easy exercise. I want to mix different colors and see what kind of color I'll achieve. I'm aiming to find some shadow colors. Normally I would use Payne's grain for shadow color if I don't want to mix my own shadow color. I actually haven't got Payne's grain on this palette that I'm using. I used to use Payne's gray, I guess. Now I'm often just using indigo because that's what I have on my palette, and I just kind of forgot about Payne's gray, to be honest. So I'm just normally using indigo, which on its own is quite nice, I think. But I also want to see what's going to happen if I mix it with blue. I already wrote down all the colors that I wanted to try, just to kind of not make this video too long. But I want to see what's going to happen if I add a little bit of blue. I hope that it will cool down the color a little bit, make it like a cool shadow color. So let's see, a bit of phthalo blue, and that's actually quite nice, but it may be a little bit too blue. I don't know if I would actually use that. So the next family of colors, I guess, that I want to try, I have heard that a lot of people use ultramarine with burnt sienna. Again, I don't have burnt sienna on my palette. I've run out, and yeah. Anyway, I will just try different colors. I'm not very prepared for this, am I? But that's just what it is, It's just my, I'm just sit down and paint, and then it's like, oh, I need to put burnt sienna in my palette. Do I even have burnt sienna? I have a burnt umber. Anyway, yeah, let's carry on. So another thing, I think this one is ultramarine. So again, if it's not ultramarine, it's very, very similar looking to ultramarine. So I'm just going to assume that whatever I have on my palette is ultramarine, because I didn't write down this color for some reason. And I'm going to try it with raw sienna now. Okay, deep breath, slow down. Nobody's chasing you. Right, let's try. I actually can see that my color is a little bit messy right now. I've mixed it when I was painting previously with something. So I'll just try to pick a neat. There we go, and I will just gently. That's looking good. Maybe a little bit too blue, but that's because I use quite a lot of ultramarine. But I think that could pass for a shadow. Oh, I'm really running out of this ultramarine. I have to be very gentle. Okay, it's gonna be a pale shadow. Okay, I'll just try it with gold ochre then. Now this one is a bit warm. There we go. It's a bit better. I really need to fill up my palette after this video. Fill up the colors that I've run out of. Do I still have enough of this ultramarine? Oh, barely. Right, what else? I wanted to try raw umber. No, I don't think I can. Okay, let's just go with it. Never mind that. Right, the next way to mix shadows is to use colors that are opposite on the color wheel. So like green with red, purple with yellow, and blue with orange. So I'm going to try purple with yellow, but the problem is sometimes you can get brown rather than like gray. So we'll just see what happens. There's a bit of a science behind it. I think every color has like a bias to cool or warm, and I don't mean Warm colors are like yellow, orange, and red. There is also like every color, even like a blue can have a warm bias. It's a bit, I don't really know how to explain it if you've not heard of this concept. But basically, usually the colors that have a cool bias mixed together will create gray, as far as I'm aware. So I was trying to pick colors that are like this. So the lemon yellow definitely has a cool bias, and the dioxazine violet apparently as well. So fingers crossed. No, that's a bit purple. It's not what I expect. Maybe I need to add a little bit more yellow. We'll see. No, it's creating more of a brown, I guess. Maybe I was wrong about it. I don't know. No, I'm adding too much yellow. Okay, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna pick the color that's kind of the closest. Despite them having a cool bias, still create brown. I don't know, maybe I was wrong. Let's try with the other ones. So I've got alizarin crimson, which is cool, as far as I know. Oh, I maybe used a little bit too much. And viridian, which also supposed to be cool. I mean, at the end of the day, rather than trying to understand like the principles, sometimes it's just best to practice. Because I thought I knew what to expect. Oh, this one actually is working. Maybe a little bit more red. This is looking kind of more. Oh, wow, that's perfect. That's almost, you could also almost make black with it. Yeah, alizarin crimson with viridian. Now that's quite impressive, I'd say. Okay, so yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I think the best way is to just try different mixes. And the last one I want to try, orange and blue. I don't really actually have like a true orange, so I'm just going to use Indian yellow, which is like on a warmer side. So we'll see what happens. It might not work that well. I think it might just create a green, to be honest, but we won't know unless we try. Yep. It's just a green. Okay, well, this one didn't work. That's not a shadow color. Wait, blue and orange, right? Yeah, I guess it's just, what if I'm just going to do it on like a swatch, because I've run out of space here. I don't really want to mess this page. But what if I tried Windsor blue, but with I'll mix the Indian yellow and cadmium red and try to create an orange. Hang on, because now my brush is a little bit messy. I just want to see if I actually mix it with orange, if it would work. So I'll try to make orange with my two colors. So cadmium red, Indian yellow. Yeah, okay. Can you see that? Yeah, that's more of like a orange color, right? Let's see if I mix this with Windsor blue, or should we try phthalo blue? Maybe I'll try Windsor, because I just want to see. Okay, moment of truth. It's kind of getting there. It's still a bit green, but definitely way darker, isn't it? So yeah, there is something behind this idea, but yeah, this Indian yellow is just too yellow, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to have to wait for this to dry, although it nearly is there. I think I'll pause and wait for it to dry, and then I want to try hard and soft shadows. And the next thing I want to try is, I've heard of using shadows that are opposite of the color that you're painting. So for example, I'll paint like something yellow and I'll use a blue shadow for it, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, so the next thing I want to practice is doing soft shadows and hard shadows. So I'll be using wet and wet technique for soft shadows and wet and dry for hard. And I'll do alizarin crimson with viridian, as a shadow color. So it's just going to be very simple. I'll just paint some like spheres and so I will paint like a red sphere for both of them, and then for a shadow I'll use I'll add Viridian to the alizarin crimson mix. Okay, so very simple. We'll just have to decide light source will be maybe from the left. So I'll just create a puddle of well, when I say wet on wet in this one, what I'm actually going to do is I'll paint the sphere wet on dry, but then I will just soften the shadow with damp brush, and I will also add shadow, because we will be doing cast shadow and form shadow, so shadow on the sphere. So the shadow on the sphere will be painted wet in wet. So wet alizarin crimson mix, and I'll add wet Viridian to it to create the shadow. Let's just dive in and see how it turns out. So just painting the sphere. I was going to leave a highlight, but I kind of painted a little bit too much. I'll just do it like that. It's a little bit wrong place, unless I actually make it a bit bigger. I don't know, I don't want to make it too big because I want to leave space for these. Oh, that clearly is not a very sphere. Doesn't matter, never mind. Let's just go for Viridian now. This one's Viridian, yes. I should have mixed Viridian beforehand, but hey, am I ever prepared? Right, so let's just start dropping Viridian for a form shadow. Hopefully it will mix enough to kind of create a shadow color, but who knows. And then I'm going to just, oh yeah, hang on, because when I'm doing it here, I actually need to mix it with red now, because there's no red to mix it with now. Just a little bit green now. Well, that didn't go very well, did it? But I just want to kind of illustrate the principle rather than create something pretty, so at least for that it will work. And now I'm just going to soften it, although I'm kind of wondering, there's a little bit too much water in here. I'm just gonna mop it up. It's too much. It's just too wet. And I'm just going to, now it's a clean brush, just softening it a little bit. Okay, so that's kind of the idea behind a soft shadow. Clearly very badly executed, but I hope you get the idea. Now sadly I haven't got much space here, so I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna have to make like a very small one, right? Let's just try. So this time it will be painted completely wet on dry. So I'll just have to wait for this to dry, and then I'll add the shadow. That's already so much nicer, I feel. But again, I need to mop up this puddle. Too puddly. Maybe this is a little bit too stark. I will actually soften this highlight with a bit of tissue. Although now it's a bit too big. I should have done it. No, I'm messing it up a little bit. Okay, I guess that will work. Right, so I will wait for it to dry before I add next shadow. I need to adjust myself in the chair. It's going to be squeaky. Forgive me. Okay. So the next thing I want to practice is using like the opposite color on the color wheel for the shadow. So for example, I will again create a sphere with yellow, and I will create a purple shadow, literally just purple, not a shadow, but just purple, like a pure purple color. I will do this one, both of them wet on dry this time, because I feel like normally wet on dry is just a little bit easier to control, and I just kind of feel like I need to have some control with this exercise, because I'm just not familiar with shadows. It's just a bit overwhelming. I feel like if I do wet on dry, it will be a little bit easier for me to come up with what I intend to, I guess. Okay, and the next one I want to try is blue with an orange, but for an orange I need to mix it again because I haven't got an orange. So I'll just use, what did I want to use? Cadmium red and cadmium yellow for the orange. Okay, that squeaky noise was me cleaning the palette. I might as well just turn it around. Okay, so cadmium yellow. Cadmium red is this one. Okay, that's quite a nice orange. So I'll paint the sphere with the highlight. Okay, maybe I will work. There we go. Right, these will have to dry. This one is still drying. Okay, so while all this is drying, there's another thing that I want to try, but this one is very experimental, and I have no idea how it's going to turn out. It just had an idea, so it might be a bad idea. We'll see. What I want to do is paint a tree, like a leafy tree, and to create shadow wet in wet, so that's to kind of like define the leaves. So what I'm thinking, if I create a shadow, let's say I use purple for the shadow, so I'll use yellow for the tree. That kind of sounds a bit bizarre, but why not? Right, so literally what I'm going to start with, I might even just splatter some water, or should I just use my, yeah, I'm going to use my spray bottle. I just want to protect this piece, so I'm just going to spray a little bit to wet my page. I really like painting very messy. I might actually just keep this here, because now I will just like splatter some yellow. So I'll do yellow tree and just add purple to create shadows. I should have really gone with the red. Should I go with the red? Because if I went with alizarin crimson, red tree and then green, that would be better, wouldn't it? Oh, should I mop it up and try that? Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, just such a messy way to paint. But yeah, I like this idea too much, because if I use yellow and purple, I think the shadow will actually not be as pretty. But we know from my practice earlier that alizarin crimson and viridian create lovely dark color. So yes, despite this being a little bit messy, let's just try. Okay, right, so alizarin crimson and viridian for the shadow, and mix it wet in wet. Right, again, I will splatter. It's gonna be mess everywhere. I probably need a bit more watery mix or a bigger brush, but just what it is. Oh, this splatter is not really working as I want it. Okay, we're getting there a little bit. Okay, now I'm just going to, let's just clean this up a little bit. My desk is always so messy. Okay, and we're just going to just create leaves. Sorry, my pronunciation is pretty bad. I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so just like randomly blob red leaves, like an autumn tree, or just like a cereal tree, who cares? Okay, I think that will do. And then let's start adding viridian for the shadow. And like I mentioned previously, I never create my puddles first. I really should break this habit. Create your puddles of color first and then paint, because then things are drying already. But I think I have enough time because it's so wet. But yeah, because like I just decide things randomly, change my mind and all that, I don't pre-mix my colors. But maybe I should. Right, let's see. Will this create a nice shadowy color? No, it's not looking very good at all, is it? Well, maybe I need to be patient. Maybe once it dries, it will be better. It is an experiment, so it could just turn out very badly, and I feel like it is turning out very badly. But hey, that's what experiments are for. Okay, so while this mess is looking very messy, I will just add a little bit darker alizarin crimson, a little bit more juicy, just to kind of add some contrast. Maybe that will help. Or maybe it will just end up looking like a very messy blob. I mean, in some places it is kind of turning a bit like a shadow, but where it isn't, it's just looking weird and messy. So I guess mixing the shadows while painting, I mean, maybe it works sometimes, but I don't know, this just looks like a blobby mess. Let's just add the trunk to it and some branches, and maybe it will look a little bit more like a tree, because right now it's just, I don't even know what it is. Right, so I want a fairly inky, I'm just going to use indigo for this. I will actually kind of drop it in here as well, let it spread, because I like to be messy, but it just, I don't want the tree to look too short, so I kind of need to go in, I guess. Screen the branches, very messy. I think that's probably the biggest disaster I have created in this series so far. Look at that. Could there be anything more ugly? What do you think? Is it as bad as I think it is, or am I just being dramatic? I don't know. I low-key like it, but at the same time, ew. It's like, I do like this softness here. It's just such a random thing. But yeah, even though that's not what I had in mind when I was thinking of this exercise. I just literally wanted to mix the shadow color in the subject itself, like while painting. Yeah, it ended up completely not what I thought. I'm not mad at it. I don't know, it just makes me laugh. Okay, like I'm desperately trying to clean my brush, but my water is so messy now. It's proving a little bit difficult. I do want to get back to these exercises, which I will in a minute, but I just have to let my doggy out. Come on, go on then. Okay, my doggy just went to the garden. Right, so what were you doing here? Oh, okay, so I was using Viridian for the shadow. It actually looks very green, doesn't it? Let's just mix the Viridian with alizarin crimson. Oh no, that's not Viridian. Honestly, I think I probably need to do my practice a little bit earlier in the day, because it's quite late now and I'm just a little bit all over the place. Right, alizarin crimson. Take a breath. Deep breath, and you can have a cup of tea when you finish. Okay, alizarin crimson, Viridian. Let's try to make a nice shadow color. That's kind of pretty nice, I guess. I'm just going to check if it's dry. I check with the back of my hand. If it's still cool to touch, it's still not fully dry. This is pretty good. Now I struggle with hard hard edges, you know, like just this is a soft edge. I struggle with hard edges because they're so unforgiving. You just need to be kind of precise. So I don't know how this is gonna turn out. I don't even know what I'm doing. And then just like a hard edge, I guess, like this. This is looking pretty bad. Let me just mop this up a little bit. Okay, not terrible, I guess, but no, just messing it up now. Okay, I guess we'll just leave it at that. I think it kind of describes the concept, I guess. This is really messy. Goodness me. Right, okay, so next one, but this time rather than using a shadow, I wanted to use a pure color. What's my dog doing? Oh my god, he's eating something in the garden. I don't even know. Right, dioxazine purple, so actual purple. So when it's on the sphere, it might actually create a bit of more of a like a shadow, but on the ground it's just gonna be pure purple. Right, kind of something like this. I mean, I've heard of this concept of like using colors that are opposite on the color wheel for shadows. I think I'm probably just taking it a little bit too literally. I think the aim is to create like a purpley shadow for a yellow subject. This is just too much. I should have just done a very pale glaze. I just used the color too strongly, and now I'm just trying to tidy it up and it's just getting worse. No, that's terrible, but I'm just gonna have to leave it. I will try to make more of a like a pale glaze. You really are seeing me fail today. So well, sometimes we have those days. Today is clearly mine. That was a chair, in case you're wondering. Okay, pale Windsor blue, not too much. I think I'm going to start actually with this shadow color. I kind of like how those colors look against each other, you know, but it's just too blue, it's just too literal. Again, too much. I don't know, I just can't paint wet and dry, I guess. Right. Whew. Oh my god, that was difficult. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for today. So to sum up, what have I learned? I have learned that I struggle with shadows. Definitely need more practice. This one probably turned out the best, despite it being wet and dry, which I normally struggle with. I don't know what happened here. Like, look, I painted this and I painted this. Would you say it's by the same person? I do like using a bit of a tissue to blot out the shadow, highlight. I think that's important to remember. Messy experiment. I don't know. I have a very ambivalent feeling towards it, as in like, I don't know if I love it or hate it. And alizarin crimson and viridian works well for shadows. And ultramarine potentially. I would have to test it out. But yeah, alizarin crimson and viridian, definitely nice for shadows. So that's it for today. Hope you liked it. If you want to see any more of my exercises or see me fail, you can definitely see a lot of that in my videos. I'll link the playlist at the end of this video. Enjoy and happy painting.